of the advantages of impression plaster. Minimal expansion. Okay? Rapid set, so you can do it quickly, and it's relatively soft, so you can remove it from your provisioning. Okay? But those are for a different use. When mounting, the main reason is for minimal expansion. And advantage is rapid set. Okay? Now the job position that would have been number 4 on our mandibular diagram, mandibular movement diagram, which was not a border movement. Also it indicates what? Yeah. So I heard it. BDR. That would be vertical dimension of breadth. BDO is the border movement. BDR is down a little bit. How much discrepancy is there between BDO and BDR? Okay, that's the name of the space, freeway space. It can be anywhere from 1 to about 6.
So this is the diagram from Wheeler's chapter 16 that show 2 scenarios of occlusion where you have a cusp to fossa relationship, and then you have another diagram that shows cusp to fossa and cusp to marginal ridge. And then there's also a term we looked at, we've talked about, called ideal intercuspal relationship. And I was wondering if you could clarify if does that have anything to do with those diagrams? Is that is an ideal intercuspal relationship if it's all cusp to fossa? Is that ideal? Or?
What they consider ideal intercuspal relationship is at diagram 1629.
So marginal ridge and...
Yeah, fossas and marginal ridge.
Okay. When does it happen? Why did we look at the cusp to fossa? Is that like just...
Cusp, if you remember early on, we talked about cusp to marginal ridges. Since you've got a cusp that fits between 2 marginal ridges, that can cause a wedging force between the teeth and open the contacts up. If you are doing a prosthetic occlusion and you can move the cusp into a fossa on either side, you can increase the stability. But you don't want to do it at the risk of making the tooth look odd or changing embrasure forms or anything. So it's a matter of, can you get it to a fossa, depending on the tooth relationship, and still look right, maintaining everything else, or are you better off to leave it across a marginal ridge? Now, one of the biggest cusps that is going to have cusp to marginal ridge contact is that mesial buccal cusp on the lower first molar. Because it's a big, flat, square cusp. Doesn't really have a cusp tip that fits well into a fossa. Now, I'm very proud that you guys took the duty to prove that I was wrong and that you could get that cusp into a fossa. But hopefully all of you noticed that when you did that, when you looked at the tooth, it looked odd. That mesial buccal embrasure was open. It kind of looked like a torpedo on the mesial. That cusp was actually heading towards the back of the mouth, which is great for pushing food back, but aesthetics and things not so good. Okay? So, this diagram, we got the central, the lateral, canine, premolar 1, premolar 2, molar 1, molar 2, molar 3.
Isn't that diagram kind of off?
It's a lot of. I really don't like it, but when I was teaching for Kaplan, I saw it, and also somebody brought this to me this morning, so I wanted to bring it up. Okay? somebody was trying to learn functional and non-functional cusp relationships from this diagram. It only really works for mesiodistal relationships. Okay? And the general idea, the biggest problem is right here, where our mandibular central goes across the midline. So we kind of do that, we get a better idea. So you can go by what teeth touch what teeth here. And you can say the mesial-buccal cusp of a maxillary first molar in a normal occlusion should be opposing the buccal groove of a mandibular. Same thing will happen second molar and third molar. So the mesial-buccal cusps of the maxillary molars tend to oppose the buccal grooves of the mandibular molars. Now, behind this cusp, what is there? What's on the lingual surface? I want to know what is so funny. Huh?
Oh, we said it's funny.
Yeah, it's like 6 of you guys all started cracking it.
Oh, I said that I knew that in preschool.
Smart kid.
You're probably headed to Oregon then.
Oh, we have a... No, it's inside joke.
OS.
OS?
OS.
Well, then you don't need to worry about these because they won't be there after you get on the lingual surface. Here, I'll put you. What's going on the lingual surface of this cusp?
Is that, you talking about the maxillary one?
Yeah.
So,
What occupies the buccal groove? What occupies the buccal groove on the occlusal surface of a mandibular first molar? Triangular ridge. Okay? The triangular ridge of this cusp fits through and occupies, when you go into occlusion, fits into the buccal groove. Okay? The buccal aspect of the oblique ridge will fit through this distal groove. Okay? So you got to go triangular ridge and oblique ridge. Now realize the buccal half of the oblique ridge is the triangular ridge of the distal buccal cusp anyhow. Right?
Yeah.
What makes up the lingual aspect of the oblique ridge? Excuse me?
Triangular ridge and the mesial.
Nope. You guys just worked on this tooth for 3 hours.
Cusp ridge and cusp ridge.
What cusp ridge? The distal cusp ridge of the mesiolingual cusp is the other component of the oblique ridge. The distal cusp ridge of the mesiolingual cusp of a maxillary molar creates the lingual aspect of the oblique ridge. That mesiolingual cusp, remember the occlusal outline is kind of rounded.
Yes.
The cusp tip is here, the triangular ridge is going to come down into the fossa, but the oblique ridge goes out the distal and connects with the triangular ridge in the distal buccal cusp. And that creates the oblique ridge. And the developmental groove does not cross